Good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday, March 4th. It is 1:03 p.m., and that is the time when we usually start our Western Liberty Network Saturday Zoom sessions. And this is the latest. We've had conference and a couple of things come up, so we haven't done this for a few weeks, but we're going to get back on track with this session right here. This training is going to be how to file for local nonpartisan office. And it will be attended by at least the three people here, Anna, Matthew, and Chris Wagner. And will also be viewed by people who like to look at the recording after the live presentation. And so I have a few things I need to point out. First of all, Western Liberty Network is a 501c3 organization. And that means by law, we're unable to support or oppose any partisan candidate. We don't do that with any candidate, even the ones we train. We also don't take positions on ballot measures or other political issues. What we do is train limited government grassroots activists how to succeed in politics by offering them skills, and then they are free to do what they like to promote limited government in their own way where they live. I'm going to begin by sharing the screen. I'm going to go to our website. That's westernlibertynetwork.org. You can see I'm bringing this up to you because there are some resources that you can check out. If you go to our homepage, which is what you should see on your screen, you'll see what we are doing. And right now, we are going to be focusing on over 7,000 local nonpartisan offices that are up for election this year in Oregon and Washington. We're going to train people how to file for office, how to run for office, how to win, and then after the elections, how to serve in the races that they've won. So we've got some things going on here. If you click on this one, you can see all of the election offices for Oregon. If you click on the Oregon flag, this tells you how to reach all of the local elected offices. If you want to go to Douglas County, it tells you how to reach the Douglas County election office. And we'll be talking about that very shortly. The same is true for Washington State. If you go to this one, you can click on the county that you like, Perry County, and it will tell you the information related to that. It's a nice little trick, and you'll see why that's useful in a little bit. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see what we're doing. This is always highlighting the Zoom session that is coming up. This Zoom session is about candidate filing, so you see that here. And I think all of the people who are online live clicked on this red button to get on that. So you can always see what we're doing the following Saturday by scrolling down. And then if you want to see what else we've done, this is from our 2023 annual conference. Photographs of what we're doing. We'll be posting presentations soon that were made on PowerPoint for some of the sessions. We had Kurt Volker, Senator Dennis Linthicum, Cesar Ybarra of FreedomWorks, and school choice advocate Mark Thielman, and some other photos. We'll have more up here later, but there are other things here too, other conferences, and there are other resources. Some of these might be useful to you. How to, for example, use social media to support a candidate, or how to use social media in a campaign, speeches from previous speakers of other campaigns, and so on. If you want to have your own custom training program, you can go to the training tab of Western Liberty Network, and that'll bring up this page. If you scroll down, you'll see the kinds of training we provide. And then you've got some training documents. If you click on the topic that you like, you will see a training document. How to build your campaign team, for example, if you click on that one. All these topics are available free of charge. They're not copyrighted, so if you know anyone who will benefit from them, feel free to photocopy them or email them or do whatever you like. You can download them as you wish. And at the bottom, there's always a link to download a single PDF file containing all of the training documents. So if you see value in what you see with Western Liberty Network documents, you can download them all with one click. Then if you go down, you'll see the videos from the WLN Saturday Zoom sessions. And we've got over 2 years worth of these. I do a lot of the trainings, but not all of them. We have a number of guest trainers that provide training on these items. And this training session will be shortly added to this list as soon as we are completed with it. And if you like what you see, you can always support Western Liberty Network with a tax-deductible contribution, fully tax-deductible. You can make a one-time contribution or a regular monthly automatic contribution by clicking on these links. They are handled by PayPal, so it is secure. And again, all of this is tax-deductible. So with that, I'm going to stop the share for a moment. I will have other documents to show you in a short time. And what I'm going to do now is ask if anyone has questions about what I've said about Western Liberty Network thus far, and then go into the training itself. Does anyone have any questions thus far? Okay, looks like there are no questions, so we'll go right into it. As you probably know, there are over 3,500 local nonpartisan positions up for election in Oregon this year. The election will be on May 16th. Those are the special district elections. And there will be a filing deadline of March 16th. That is coming up very shortly. And if you want to file a voter pamphlet statement in your county, that deadline is on March 20th. Now on Western Liberty Network, for those who are watching on the recording, I'm going to look this up for just a second. Washington, which has another approximately 3,500 positions up for election, they've got a different situation. They have a window during which you can file between May 15th of 2023 and May 19th of 2023. Their local elections happen later in the year. So for this particular session, since it's coming up so soon, we're focusing on the Oregon session. But a lot of what is discussed here is also applicable to Washington. We'll be doing a special session for Washington later. Now, I'm going to share the screen again because there is something I want you to look at. I'm gonna have to bring this up one more time. I'm encouraging everyone here to go to the Western Liberty Network session. And if you live in Oregon, click on the Oregon flag. On the Oregon flag, as I mentioned before, you can see the county election offices of every county in the state. And here they are. And if you go to Yamhill, for example, you'll see here that you've got the Yamhill County election office. And if you click on it, it'll take you to the election page for Yamhill County. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to find out what offices are available to run for. You're going to want to take a quick look at those. I'm going to show you how that is. Now, I've got a couple of sites up right now. Here's the Washington County election office. If you go to current elections and you look at the candidate and measure filings, this is what you see. A notice of the election. And here are people who have already filed. The school district, Bank School District, they have already filed for these positions. And as you'll note, there are positions for which nobody has filed. Other positions people have filed for. A lot of school district, fire district, water board, park and rec. This one, Tigard Tualatin Aquatic District, position 4, position 5. And if you click on any of these, like Nancy Crushar on position 3, she has filed. If you want to see what she's about, you can go check it out. This is the SEL 190 we're going to talk about before. Every candidate has to file one. And this tells you a little bit about their experience and their background. And this can sometimes be useful to look through, because if you're trying to decide what office you want to run for and people have already filed, this lets you know what you're up against. And if you think there might be someone who's a bit too formidable to run against in one race, you might want to look at another race. But anyway, these are some things you can look at. Every county's website is different. For example, here we are in Douglas County. Okay, in Douglas County, if you go to the current elections, you find these things. Here, for example, are the fire districts. If I click on that, it'll show me who has filed for the various fire districts. And as you can see, Nobody has filed for most of them. Here, this one, Bob Sconce, he has filed. And what you'll see again as it loads is another SEL 190 form. And this tells you a little bit about Robert Sconce. But anyway, you can take a look in your county at the people who have filed. Now, some of the counties that have lower populations, like Wheeler County, Malheur County, they don't have as good of a web interface as some of these other counties. But what you can do is you can call them using the information, the contact information available on the Oregon flag link off the westernlibertynetwork.org, and you can call them. And what I would do, whether they have a good web interface or not, based on where you live, is I would call your election official and I would ask them, what are all of the positions that I am eligible to run for? And they will ask you for your address, and they will tell you, because some of them are by zone and some of them are at large. There are a variety of different ones, and in towns and in counties there are a lot of towns and they have separate situations. So the county office will tell you all of the positions that you're eligible to run for. And then if you want to, take a look at your county's website, see if you can glean what races you are interested in that might have somebody to run for. You might have opponents, you might have nots, and make a decision based on that. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And I'll tell you what I sometimes advise people to do, especially if they're not an incumbent and they haven't run for office before, is to go to their county elections office or call them, ask, what are all of the positions that I'm eligible to run for? And then fill out SEL 190 forms for all of them. Now, most people obviously aren't going to run for all of those positions, but what some people like to do is wait until 4:30 or 4:35 on the filing deadline day, and they'll have the paperwork ready for all of the positions for which they're eligible to run. And they will go physically to their election office for their county, and they will take a look at what positions have candidates running and what positions don't. And when 5 o'clock approaches, they hand over the paperwork and the filing fee for the positions that nobody has filed for. If you have done that and nobody else files before the 5 p.m. deadline, you will win. And then you have some really great opportunities. Now, if you want to run for a specific position or you're motivated to run for a specific position, by all means do. But if you're just trying to get your foot in the door, this is a good way to do it. And if you find yourself fortunate enough to be running in a race that is unopposed, I encourage you to run a full-out campaign as if you had an opponent. Ask somebody to be your campaign manager. Ask for friends or family members to be volunteers on your campaign. Knock on doors. You know, I'm from Nebraska, so I like to use a lot of football analogies, so you'll forgive me for that. But sometimes when you're watching football, there will be a flag thrown, but it's against the defense. So the offense gets to finish the play, and they can then decide if they want to keep the play and decline the penalty, or if they want to take the penalty. It's a free play. So if you're running for office and you're unopposed, you get a free play. You will not lose. There are very rare occasions when someone who's very popular runs a write-in campaign, but only 1 or 2 of those happen every year in the entire country. So if you're running unopposed in an election, you're going to win. That means you can run a campaign and you can make mistakes and they're not going to cost you. You can learn how to be a candidate for the time in the future when you might have opposition. You will get experience. If you get a campaign manager to help you and you get people to volunteer to help you, they will get experience working for a campaign and being a campaign volunteer. It's good for the voters. People will say, well, why are you running a campaign when you're almost certain to win? And the answer is, I know I'm running unopposed, but I don't want to take the voters for granted. I want them to know that I think this is an important office, and I want to get to know the voters, and I want to listen to what they have to say. People appreciate that. People will remember that. And then after you've won the election, you will have that knowledge of having talked to citizens. The citizens will have gotten to know you a bit. You will have built a network of people that you know. You will have a campaign manager and staff that now have a campaign under their belt. And when you decide you want to work on another campaign, or you want to run for another campaign yourself, where you have opposition, or if you want to work on a ballot measure campaign, you will now have a network of people, supporters, citizens, and volunteers that you can deploy. It is very important to have that. And obviously, if you have opposition in a race, it's good to run a campaign in any case. So, just out of curiosity, where do you all live? Anna, where do you live?
I live in Marion County.
Okay. And what about you, Chris?
I'm in Lane County.
And Matthew, you?
Deschutes County.
Okay. So you're all in different counties, and that's good. So there's going to be a different website for each of your counties. And so you can start there. But eventually, when you pick a race that you're going to run for, you're going to end up filing an SEL 190. Now, let me pull that up really quick. I'm going to send this to you through the chat file. Okay, right now, okay, for some reason it's not allowing me. It's not allowing me to send it through the chat file. Is it here? Here we go. So let me send a file. So, okay. So I've just sent SEL 190 to all of you, and I'm going to bring that up by sharing the screen again.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
How do I get that after we're done?
You should be able to click on it. You should be able to click on it right now if you want to.
No, I just want to be able to have it later.
Okay. Well, you can go to the westernlibertynetwork.org website.
Okay.
And on the page where it advertises this training, there is a link to the SEL 190 form.
Okay, I'll just do that. That'll be fine.
On that, and you can get it. So this is the SEL 190 form, and it's very simple. It's a very short form. Is it an original filing for the office of district, position, or county? $10 filing fee. It's not too bad. You're not going to do the petition. You can get a petition and have people sign on to waive the fee, but $10 isn't bad. Your name, how you would like your name to appear on the ballot, your residence address, all of that, race and ethnicity, if you want to provide that, occupation, occupational background, educational background, prior government experience, and then your signature and then your date. Once you file this with your county election office with the filing fee, your name will then be on the ballot. Now you can file it this way. There's also another way you can file it. You can go directly online. I'm going to share the screen again. There is an SEL 190 form online. And if you go to that, you'll see this. You scroll down, and just like on the paper form, original or amendment, office filing for district, county, where you're at, candidate information. It's the same as the SEL 190 form that you file yourself. And when you fill it in, if it's before the deadline, it will be sent to the county at issue. and you will be a candidate. So you can file both online or you can file on paper. And this link to file this way is also provided on the Western Liberty Network website if you want to check that out. So I'm going to put this away and I'll stop the screen share. So once you file those offices, you are a candidate and your name will appear on the ballot. I'll bring up another document here. There are some other things that you can do.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
What if like Anna is my middle name? Do I need to use my full name or does it matter?
You can put your full name on the application, but where it says, how would you like your name to appear on the ballot? You can put anything you like. Some people like to put the name, you know, if their name is William Kirby and they go by the name of Bud, they can put the name of Bud Kirby on how you would like it to appear on the ballot.
Thank you.
But I would put your full name on where it says what your name is. Put your full name down, how you would like it to appear on the ballot. Now, if you put something like Bud Kirby, the election office might contact you for some evidence to show that you are commonly known as Bud. But if you are commonly known as Bud, that won't be a problem. So you have some options with the SEL 190. And of course, you know, you can study this form in advance. And of course, you can call your election office in your county if you have specific questions about the form. It's always good to call them. I'm happy to answer what questions I can, and I can get you started and pointed in the right direction. But none of what I say is authoritative. Call your county election office to get an authoritative answer on things that you have questions on. Okay. Now, if you file, you can also file a voter pamphlet statement. Now, the voter pamphlet statements are due on the 20th of March. That's coming up. Okay, now if you have a voter pamphlet statement, you have a much better chance of winning the election. Now, almost every position is included in the county voter pamphlet statement. And it's amazing to me that a lot of folks that file for office don't bother to file a voter pamphlet statement. They're not very expensive. They're under $100. It varies by county, but sometimes they're as low as like $35. You get a photograph and you get a 325-word statement, and it goes to every address of a registered voter in the county at issue. It is the best deal by far for campaigning that you're ever going to get. And so call your county elections office because some of them have different forms for the voter pamphlet statement. You want to make sure that you use the right form. Now, I downloaded this one from Douglas County. I'll share the screen to show it to you. Here you can see it. It's different than the Secretary of State's voter pamphlet statement for the statewide voter pamphlet. It is for the county voter pamphlet. And here it's very simple, name of candidate, office. They're all pretty much the same county to county, but you want to make sure you use the right form. They all include the same basic information: occupation, occupational background, educational background, prior government experience, you know, what information you want to provide. And each county might have different specifications on what is to be in the voter pamphlet statement. Generally, it's 325 words total, including all of the required information that you see here. They often allow for a photograph. The photographs should be a headshot of you that is plain, no logos, you know, no lapel pins, no American flag in the background, nothing with a logo, no veteran's hat or anything like that. Nothing that would imply or suggest that any entity endorses you. Just a picture of yourself, you know, appropriately photographed for a voter pamphlet statement. It's often good to get a professional photograph to do a headshot of you. You can do it on a phone if you want to. The county will tell you the format they want it in, the size they want it in, whether they want it in a black and white. But absolutely do file a voter pamphlet statement and do provide a voter pamphlet photograph if one is allowed in your county. Your chances of winning are much larger if you have one filed than if you don't. Of course, if you're running unopposed, you'll probably win anyway. But again, if you're running unopposed, run a campaign, file a voter pamphlet statement, get to know the voters, let them get to know you, and file that document. If you wish, you can file, I think, okay, screen sharing has been stopped. Okay, if you want to, you can have somebody endorse you. If you know any local office holders who will endorse you for office, you can also file a document called an SEL 400. I'm going to bring that up and show it to you. It's a very short form. And again, I will be having links for these up shortly. Here you see it. It's, you know, what election it's for. You know, it's a candidate statement, who the endorser is, what organization they represent, if any, and their signature. And, you know, there are a couple of ways to do it, but it's a simple one-page form. And what this does is this proves to the county election office that the person you claim endorses you for office actually does endorse you for office. Okay, so that is an available form as well. These are all very simple. And if you have questions about how to fill out these forms, you can call me. I'm available as a resource, but you can also call your county election office. That's the authoritative source, and they will help you. These county offices, by and large, are very helpful. They're not out to get you. They are out to be helpful. Some of them have ideological bents. Most of them do not. Oregon is fortunate in that we only have a few county offices where integrity of elections is questionable. Most of the folks in the smaller counties like Klamath, Douglas, Malheur, Union, the county clerks in those counties, which make up most of the counties in Oregon, are very trustworthy. It's tougher in Washington, where you've got multiple population centers like, you know, Spokane, Tacoma, Seattle, Vancouver, Olympia, and all these others. High population counties seem to be ones that need more scrutiny. So Oregon is at least blessed in that we don't have too many of those. Okay, I've stopped the screen sharing there. Now some counties, some positions that you might run for cross county lines. Excuse me. Certain examples of those include certain fire and rescue districts that cross county lines, a few school board districts cross county lines. In that case, you do want to call your county elections office to make sure that you're filing correctly. If you are running for an office that crosses multiple, one or more county lines, you may need to file this. This is a different form. And again, this won't apply to you if the district you're running for is completely within your county. But this is the same kind of candidate statement that I just showed you for a county. Only this is a joint county voter pamphlet statement. So if you fill this out and file it with your county elections office, it will be sent to all of the counties that are covered by your particular district. It's the same basic position. Election date, name of candidate, office running for, information furnished by, contact information is pretty much the same thing. Occupation, occupational background, educational background, prior government experience, they all have that. The joint county voter pamphlet statement includes a little more information, a little more in the way of instruction for you. However, Again, I encourage you, if your district crosses county lines, contact your county elections office to make sure they are using this form and to let you know if there are any special considerations that they need to let you know about. You know, this is really bizarre. Normally, you just need to file an SEL 190 and a voter pamphlet statement, and that's it. Beyond that, it gets complicated. This is one of those situations where running for office is really simple. This is really simple. It only seems complex when you try to explain it, because most of the explanation doesn't apply to everybody. But going again along that line, if you are running in a district that covers multiple counties, and you have someone who wants to endorse you, just as we had a statement of endorsement, the SEL 400 I showed you before, there is a joint county statement of endorsement that I'm going to show you now. And that's this document, the joint county pamphlet statement of endorsement. So if somebody wants to endorse you, it's the same thing as the SEL 400. Only when you turn this in, it will be provided to all of the counties that are covered by the district that you are running for. Again, if the district that you are running for does not cover multiple counties, then this will not apply to you. Okay, and again, all of these forms are going to be provided when the recording is posted on the training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website. Right now, the SEL 190 is posted on the homepage where this training is discussed, and a link is provided to the online version of the SEL 190 on the homepage of westernlibertynetwork.org where this training is discussed. But all of those links will be provided when this recording is posted on the training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website, and you will be able to access all of them. So you are fine if you filed your SEL 190 and your voter pamphlet statement. You are fine as long as you don't spend more than $750 additional dollars. Your training fee is not included in this, and your voter pamphlet statement cost is not included in this. And other than those two expenses, you are able to spend up to $750 under Oregon law for your campaign. For a lot of small positions, cemetery control boards, some park and rec, unopposed races, others, that's enough. You might not even need to spend that. You know, one year I ran for re-election for the Tualatin Valley Water District Board of Commissioners, and other than my filing fee and voter pamphlet statement, I didn't spend anything. I had opposition and I still won. You know, if you're going to run a campaign, it's good to spend a few dollars, get some stickers made, get a few lawn signs, you know, get a presence out there, and you can spend up to $750 without having to do anything at all. But if you decide you're going to spend more than $750, then you have to form a campaign committee with the Oregon Secretary of State. It's not difficult. What you have to do is file yet another form, an SEL 220. And I'm going to show you that form right here. SEL 220 says name, you know, this is your form. You file an original if you don't have one already. Name of committee, you know, it might be Anna for schools, right? Or it might be Joe Blow for school board, or it might be Friends of, you know, Jane Doe, or whatever it is. And then the address, it's usually your home, candidate information, treasurer information, election information, what election it is, what office you're running for. It's a very short form. And what I advise everybody do is to get their own treasurer, get a separate person who is the treasurer. It's good because if the treasurer makes a mistake, it is harder to nail you in a contested race to show that you're fiscally irresponsible. Oh, you know, if Matthew can't handle his own campaign finances, How can we trust him to handle the finances for the Park and Rec Board? Well, if you have a separate treasurer and the treasurer makes the mistake, well, then they're the ones that make the mistake, not you. And you can say, well, yeah, she made a mistake, but we're fixing it. And, she's a volunteer. So, these campaigns use a lot of volunteers, and it's a lot harder or it's a lot easier rather, to deflect criticism if mistakes are made. But normally in these local nonpartisan elections, not a lot of money is spent and there isn't a lot of controversy. But still, it's good to give someone the experience of being a treasurer. And if you, you're going to have here other things on the form, you're going to say non-affiliated, because all these positions are non-affiliated. Director information, that's optional. If you're going to have directors, you can put them down. If you're going to hire someone to do your filing for you, you have an alternate transaction filer, but normally your treasurer will do it if it's necessary. Who you want the mail to go to, other election activity. It's a very simple thing. But if you decide you're going to spend more than $750, you have to file one of these forms and you have to get a bank account. You can make a personal bank account at your bank, but you put that information here, your bank account information, and you sign it. The treasurer signs it. And then as soon as you send it to the Secretary of State's office, lo and behold, you have a candidate committee. Now, a candidate committee gets you a big advantage. And that is, since you have a candidate committee, you can take contributions from people and offer them the $50 Oregon political tax credit. So if I give money to, if Chris Wagner decides to open a candidate committee for the office he wants to run for, and I decide to give him $50 or $100 in a joint filing, provided I don't make over $125,000 a year, then when I file my taxes next year, I can claim a tax credit for up to that amount on my Oregon income taxes. It's free money. It's money that I would have had to pay to the state, but instead it went to Chris Wagner's candidate committee, and I got it back when I claimed the political tax credit. So that's one of the big benefits of having a candidate committee. And if you raise or spend less than $3,500, you don't have to do any campaign finance reporting to the Secretary of State. You don't have to go on ORSTAR, if you've heard of it. That's the Secretary of State's campaign finance reporting system. You don't have to go to ORSTAR and file your transactions. $3,500 is the magic number. You don't have to do anything if you spend less than $750. If you spend more than that, you've got to file a candidate committee with SEL 200. But if you also file what's called a Form PC7, I'm going to share that. And this is the last form I'm going to show you today. If you file this Form PC7, and this is very short, this is just half a sheet. And on this sheet, it says that you're not going to spend more than $3,500 during your campaign. And if you fill out this form and file it with your SEL 220, your candidate committee, then you do not have to do any reporting on ORSTAR. You do not have to do any campaign finance reporting. So if you want to run a very basic campaign, file your candidacy with SEL 190, file your voter pamphlet statement. You can stop there. Or you can spend up to $750, and you can stop there. Or if you want to spend more than that, you can file SEL 220 and SEL PC7 and spend up to $3,500 while being able to provide donors with a political tax credit. Now, if you want to spend more than $3,500, then you will have to file your transactions on the Oregon Secretary of State ORSTAR system. This training doesn't provide information about that because very few, on a percentage basis, races for local nonpartisan office involve the expenditure of more than $3,500. There are exceptions to that. A lot of school board races spend more than that. Some city council races spend more than that. And we will provide additional training resources if you decide you want to spend more than $3,500. So I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'll just sum up really quickly. Again, this sounds more complicated than it is. If you want to run for a local nonpartisan office, file an SEL 190 form and file your voter pamphlet. Go to your county election office using the website facilities I've shown you to find out what you're eligible to run for. When you've decided to run for something, file your SEL 190 and your voter pamphlet statement. You need do no more than that, and you'll be a candidate. You can spend up to $750 additional dollars, and you need do nothing more. If you decide to spend more than $750, form a campaign committee with SEL 220. You'll need a checking account and file a PC7 form saying that you'll spend no more than $3,500. You'll be able to raise and spend money up to $3,500, and you'll be able to raise money from donors who can claim a tax credit of up to $100 if they make under, I think it's like $150,000 or $175,000 a year. If you want to spend more than $3,500, that involves filing, which we train for in a separate session. Training is also available free of charge from the Oregon Secretary of State's office on how to do that. And then just run the best campaign you can. Get somebody to be a campaign manager, give them some experience. Get someone to be a treasurer, give them some experience. Find some volunteers willing to help. Knock on some doors yourself. Whether you're running opposed or unopposed, run a campaign. Let the voters know who you are. Find out who your voters are. Learn about the office, and you'll have an excellent shot of winning. If it makes you feel better, over 70% of those candidates who have taken Western Liberty Network training have won their elections to local office since 2013. That's just under 1,100 people who have done it. So simply by taking this training, you're off to a very good start. And if you want to know things like on how to knock on doors, how to deal with the media, how to write a campaign plan, how to build a campaign team, all of these things, information is available for you free of charge on the training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website. There are other resources too. Online school is one, Leadership Institute is another, but Western Liberty Network provides a lot of locally relevant training on how to get elected to local nonpartisan office. And when you run and when you win, you will not be alone, because after the May 16th elections, Western Liberty Network is going to provide training free of charge on how to serve in local office. We'll teach you things such as how not to violate ethics laws, how to use Robert's Rules of Order in meetings, how to participate in meetings when you're in a minority, things like that. And so that as a limited government advocate, you don't get subsumed by the board once you get elected. It's easy to do. So that is the information I have to provide you with today. Does anyone have any questions?
I have one.
Sure.
The SEL 400, who fills that out?
You fill out part of it. Here, I'll bring it up again. Let's see, where did I put it? There it is. SEL 400. Okay, I'm going to share the screen again. Okay, what I like to do is make it, can you see it? Is it up now?
No.
Okay, hold on. There, you should have it now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, very good. Now, I like to make it easy for people who want to endorse me to just sign the thing and get on with it. So I'll fill out parts of these things in advance, like special election, supply date, May 16th, 2023. candidate statement, endorsement information, what their name is. Is it a statement from an organization? And if it is, what's the organization name? I consent to the use of my name. You can check this off, but then they need to sign this. This is where their signature is here and the date on which they signed. Okay. And this is a section. If the endorsement is from your organization and you do not want your name checked in the box below, the endorser name would be here, and the endorser name, if any. This might be a situation where Oregonians Against the Metric System decides to endorse you, but the president of the organization does not. They would put down here Oregonians Against the Metric System, and they would put their name here, but their name would not appear. Okay. But if a person wants to endorse you, they sign here and they date here. You can fill out everything else for them, but they have to sign it and they have to date it. And again, I consent to the use of my name, applicable title, blah, 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 exactly as it appears in the required reproduction box in a statement or an argument submitted by the election below. So they'll sign again here and they'll date it again there. So you can fill out the entire form except the parts where they have to sign. Does that help you?
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Yeah, make life easy for them. When you want somebody to do something for you, make life easy for them. Are there other questions? Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Got another one on
Yeah.
if you're planning on just spending $750, how do you keep track of that so you don't go over?
Yeah.
And do you have to prove that somehow?
Well, no, you don't have to prove it unless, somebody challenges you. But keep receipts, right? You don't have to do it if you spend $750 or less, but I encourage it. And that is set up a separate checking account for yourself. Go to your bank and make another account. Throw $750 in it, or, raise $750 and throw it in there, and have your treasurer be the one that writes the checks, and, just keep a good record. And there'll be no doubt once you hand over your checking statement that you spent less than $750. Now, if you intend to spend $750 or less, and then you get into the campaign and then you find, oh, damn, I spent $800. Then within, I think it's 7 days, you have that much time to file an SEL 220 and a PC7. And you're okay until you spend over $3,500. And then you've got to, if you spend over $3,500, then you need to get an account on Orstar, which isn't covered today, but we can cover that separately. And you have to put in all the transactions from the very beginning, from $1 up to what it is when you spend over $3,500. But, if you're going to run a separate campaign and you plan on spending any money at all, I think it's just good practice to go to your bank and set up a separate account. I would set it up as a personal account, not tell your bank that you're running as a candidate. Because if you tell them you're running as a candidate, some banks, not all banks, you might have better luck with credit unions. Policies aren't uniform. But like I go to US Bank, and if I'm telling them I'm setting up an account to run a campaign, then they want an EIN number. My social security number isn't enough. And to get an EIN number, I've got to file that. And the banks also require that you have a PAC with the Secretary of State that has to be available online. If you're going to run for a office that involves a lot of money, again, that's not covered in this training, but those are things that you would need to do. If I was running for the Beaverton School Board, for example, which is a high dollar race, and I expected to spend a lot of money, I would go get an EIN number for my PAC, and then I would form a committee, and I wouldn't even bother with the SEL with the PC7 because I know I'd spend more than $7,500. Then I'd go to the bank and get an account and have a treasurer, put the treasurer on Orstar, and then just have them, mark that up. But casually, if you're just running for a little tiny office, just go to the bank and say, look, I want to set up another personal account for just personal purposes. There's no law saying you got to tell the bank what you're going to use this account for. And so set up an account, throw whatever money you want to in it, up to $750. And then, put your treasurer on as a signer after you've established the account. Put your treasurer in charge of it, and then just go to town. Does that help?
Yes, I have another question.
Go for it.
Down here in Lane County, the GOP has offered with yard signs for various candidates.
Yep.
And if you accept those, do you have to declare a value in in-kind?
Well, it depends on, the value of the signs that you are getting. If the value of the signs you are getting does not put you over the $750 limit, you don't have to do anything. What that's called is an in-kind contribution. When something is given to you of value, but you don't have to shell out cash for it yourself, someone else is paying for it. That's called an in-kind contribution, and it is a legitimate contribution. Excuse me. So if the value of the signs you're getting, if you're just getting a token number of signs to run for cemetery control board, and the value of those signs is less than 750, if that doesn't put you over the 750 limit on top of what you've already spent, you don't have to do anything. If it puts you over 750, but under 3,500, then you would file a Form SEL 220, you'd form a committee, Form PC7, expenditure limit of $3,500. And if the value of the signs plus what you've already spent does not exceed $3,500, then you need do nothing. But if you've spent $3,500 already and you accept a bunch of in-kind contributions, including signs, then you're over $3,500, and then you've got to go on Orstar and do all of the transactions.
Okay, and so somehow you'd have to work out a value to whatever signs they give you with the local party.
That's right. And it has to be a defensible market value. You can't take a sign that's worth $1.20 and say, oh, I'm just valuing it at 2 cents. That won't slide with the Secretary of State. It can be a competitive value, but it's got to be a legitimate market value.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Nope.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm saying no.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask you all, I always try to make these better and better, and I rely on feedback to do that. Has this been of value to you, this session today?
Most definitely for me.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Is there anything I could do to make it better for the next time? Off the top of your head. It's okay. I've been in politics for 30 years. I can take it.
No, I have to just get all the PDFs for the different SCLs. I have to look at those myself.
I'll tell you what, send me an email. I'm going to give you my email address. It's RPB, like Robert Paul Baker, and then the word central, RPB central @gmail.com. Send me an email. Remind me of what you're looking for, and I will reply with all of the PDFs that were covered in this meeting. I will also have them available on the training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website. As soon as I've downloaded this session, edited it, and got it posted up to YouTube and then put it on the website. I'll include the links there. But if you email me, I'll be able to get you those documents immediately.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the order today? Okay, we'll have another training next Saturday. You're, of course, invited to come. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again. And thank you for stepping up. You know, if we're going to be a self-governing country, that means we've got to govern ourselves, and that means us. So thank you very much for stepping up, and God bless you all.
Do you know
yes.
what your next class is going to be, what your next Zoom meeting?
Not yet. I'm going to be poking around. If you have suggestions, send that in your email.
Okay.
It'll be something relevant to running for office in the local election. Could be assembling a campaign team, could be writing a campaign plan. It'll be something along those lines.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, Chris.
I'm helping with some school board candidates down here in Cottage Grove area.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at getting sort of a slate in just to replace incumbents. Because
Sure.
we got a lot of nonsense going on in our school district here.
Right.
And I'm trying to get what's going to be most effective is if they kind of run as a slate with definite goals.
Yeah.
Or common goals, common points of view, or should they run individually? And
I recommend, well, I've seen a lot of slates be run by conservatives. Excuse me. We got to get over this cold. In the last couple of years, and they're very effective.
okay.
I don't know enough about the local political environment where you live, so I don't want to speak authoritatively, but I will tell you that I've seen slates do very well. And if I were going blind into your county, having to decide one or the other, knowing nothing, I would say run as a slate.
Okay.
And have common themes that you run on. And this goes to anyone. If there's a group of people that you think could benefit from live training, typically on 3 or 4 topics per session, my wife, Natasha, and I would be happy to come down there. And if it's appropriate, our dog, Aria, would be happy to come down there and provide live training on site to groups of people who are interested in running for office, or groups of people who are interested in helping others run for office. So that's available free of charge. We take contributions. You know, it costs probably about $200 or $300 a day to be on the road, figuring gas, hotel, and food and everything else. But we don't charge. We do accept contributions, but we do not charge. But this is a resource that's available to any group of candidates who request it, provided we're not already booked. So let us know if we can be of help.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Yes, Matthew.
Yeah, is there training available, similar training available for getting ballot measures onto the ballot?
Yes, we have some training. It's on our training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website on how to gather signatures for ballot measures. And we also do live training on that. That training is actually got an interesting story behind it. It was originally, the curriculum was originally developed when I was grassroots director for Americans for Prosperity about 13 years ago. And at the time, Kate Brown was Secretary of State, and we were gathering signatures to repeal a tax measure. And she sent out private investigators to see if we were making mistakes on the training. And they didn't find one violation or one mistake from the training. So we have kept that training current and now use it with Western Liberty Network. So we're able to provide that training live on site and there's also recorded sessions online, and there are PDF document versions that you can download free of charge.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You bet.
And
Anything
thank you
else?
for your time today.
Oh no, God bless. That's what I'm here for. That's what my job is. And is there anything else from folks? This has been a great session. I'm very proud to have been a part of it. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a good week, and maybe we'll see you next week. So
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
God bless.